Hey kids, Anderson Cowan here. I'm some guy talking about other people's movies. That's what I do every Friday. The biggest, newest movie, usually, that comes out, I will have seen it and I give my opinions here. Oh, there will be opinions. I'm on my way to go see Kenneth Branagh's new one called Belfast. I do not like Kenneth Branagh. At some point, I decided that he was pretentious. I'm not even sure when that came about or why that came about. I believe that I heard him correct someone in the way that they were saying his name, which they did not say it properly. You got to say Kenneth Branagh. Either way, I'm not terribly excited to see this movie. However, I am going to see it, and I am going to do my darndest to separate the man from the movie. At times, I do have a hard time separating the man or the woman from the movie. However, I will look at it as objectively as possible, and I will come back here and give you my thoughts on, what is it called? Oh yeah, Belfast. Be back in a second. Just saw Belfast. Have you ever seen a card trick or any kind of magic trick done poorly? You know that thing where like you can clearly see the card coming out of the sleeve. Usually it's like a kid or something, maybe a very young kid, and they want you to believe that it's magic, but you can clearly see that it's not. That's what I kept thinking as I was watching Belfast. I kept thinking, like, I'm supposed to be blown away by this. I'm supposed to be in awe of this story at times, and I'm supposed to be caring, and I did none of those things. This was very sanitized, stiff, safe. Everything you don't want in a period piece. Takes place in 1969 in Belfast over there, in a small little part of Belfast. One thing that I liked is it takes place primarily on a one city block, and the Protestants aren't really digging the Catholics, and they're very upset that they live amongst them. You know, people fight. People always find reasons to fight. It's human nature. It's ugly, ugly human nature, and that was going on in that period of time. Before I go any further, I should say Jude Hill, who is the lead in this. He's a little boy, probably 8 or 9. He is fantastic. He is great. Kenneth Branagh asked a lot of this kid, and for the most part, he got it. There was a couple very, very contrived scenes that he had to get through. The whole movie as a whole is contrived. And okay, just to give you an example of how contrived, you might have seen this in the trailer, it's black and white, except for when they're going to see the pictures, except for when they're going to see movies. And so it's an autobiography. This Buddy is supposed to be Kenneth Branagh. It's like a composite, I guess, of his childhood, and his character is Buddy. And, you know, he's got the parents over there, and it's a lot of really high, heavy drama. And throughout the movie, we are reminded that Buddy, played by Jude Hill, almost flawlessly, he is the one bright spot in this movie. It kept me going. Kept me somewhat interested whenever he was on the screen, which was most of the time. But every time they go to see the pictures or even a live stage play, that was in color. And that was so poignant. And it just really said so much about how, you know, real life is real life, but it's pretty dull and drab, but really flourishes on the screen. That's what, I mean, they did it in Clockwork Orange, not to reference Clockwork Orange 2 weeks in a row, but about how blood only seems real on the big screen. I mean, it's been done 1,000 times, and I can't believe that somebody wasn't like, no, we're not doing that! Kenneth! No! Contrived! The antagonist in this movie, who is a hardcore Protestant, and he wants the father, played by Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades, to kick some Catholic ass. The antagonist is he's like a bad Disney villain. Like, it's just so one-dimensional. There are many long monologues by the mother in particular. She was good, but it just is staged all the way through. Jude Hill couldn't save this movie. And the fact that some critics are really loving this movie is kind of shocking to me. And Jude Hill reminded me of my own son, who he's younger, he's 5, but he reminded me of my own son Atticus. And even that couldn't save the movie. It didn't make me care for the kid anymore, and that says a lot, because hanging out with my son is my favorite thing that I've ever done in my entire life. I love that dude, as a father should, and I saw a lot of my own son in Jude Hill. Couldn't save it. This movie, I didn't even get to the worst part! period piece. 1969, I already said that. It takes place in Belfast, Ireland. Those people, I'm one of them, I'm Irish, so I can say this, they like to drink. They like to get their smoke on. Everyone liked to drink and get their smoke on in the 60s. Anywhere, pretty much in the world. There is not one single person smoking a cigarette. The opening shots, it shows modern day Belfast with some pretty shots and interesting shots, artistic shots, and then it goes on this mural of like hard-working Irishmen, right? There's that guy in the mural, there's like 7 dudes, one of them has a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. That's the only time you ever see a cigarette. I understand cigarettes are evil. They're bad. They're really bad for you. They kill millions of people. I understand that. Doesn't mean that you just get to excise them out of your period piece because you don't believe in them. It'd be like making a Civil War movie and saying, I don't really like guns. A friend of mine got killed by a gun, so we're just going to go with swords. Or not even any kind of weapons. The entire movie, it's about 10 minutes in, I'm like, nobody's smoking. And I'm supposed to be transported to a different time. I'm not transported at all. And then I just kind of get obsessed with it. Hey, if you don't like smoking and you don't want it a lot in your movie and you're making a period piece, you got some lead characters. We spent a lot of time in the family home. There's 4 of them, 2 brothers and a pair of parents. Just don't have them smoke. I ignore them. But at that time, like, kids would have been smoking in the street. They would have been smoking in school, possibly. Everyone was smoking back then. Not in this movie. Not since Hidden Figures have I been so distracted with lack of smoking. Hidden Figures did the same thing. One of my main problems with that movie. All right, so the humor, I couldn't save it because the humor was lacking. It was very lacking. I am concerned that this movie is going to be up for a number of awards. I don't know that concerned, but I mean, we'll get an idea of who the Academy is still made up of if this thing's up for Best Picture. And I could see a world where that happens, where a movie like this stiff, this contrived, this safe, this it's self-masturbatory because it's him pretty much taking a photo album of his childhood and putting millions of dollars into it to show everyone. And it wasn't particularly compelling. As to say, it wasn't compelling at all, and I didn't care about it. And I'm very happy that it's over. I've got it behind me, and I don't ever have to watch it again. I recommend you not watch this movie. I feel like a jerk. I feel like I'm being mean, and I don't know if that's fair, but that's what the whole point of this thing is for me to sit down and talk about other people's movies. And this is not one that I can sign off on. No. All right, thank you very much. Hey, next week, some more member berries. This was definitely member berries for a certain generation, especially if you live over in Ireland. Hey, if you grew up in Ireland around that time, you're going to see some things that probably ring true, except for the lack of smoking. And you maybe enjoy it. So maybe you got a grandpappy who lived over there in the late 60s. Turn them on to it. Beyond that, I can't imagine getting much out of this movie. Next week, more member berries. We'll be talking about Ghostbusters. Yes. Ghostbusters will be seen by me. I'm actually kind of excited about Ghostbusters. So thank you very much. Like, subscribe, all that stuff if you like to get the heads up about the biggest movie of the week from me. And you know what? The no smoking thing, I took it as a sign that I need to start smoking a pipe on this. Happy Friday.